Alright, so the first thing you got to do is, of course, take the magazine out. And then we'll just put this to the side over here. Of course, now, some people like to disassemble it with the safety on. I don't like doing that. I turn the safety off, because if you leave it down, what I've found is that the safety lever here has a tendency to scratch the bakelite handles, and you don't want to do that. So we'll leave that up. We'll do a function check. Clear it out. There's nothing in there. I'm going to pull the trigger because there's nothing in there. Incidentally, this is double action, so you can load or chamber the round, leave it in there, and then double action fire it. And then after that, each successive shot is going to be single action, because the slide will go back and, you know, cock the hammer back so you can shoot it. The trigger pull on the double action, incidentally, is not that bad. It's a lot better than my P-64 and a lot of other pistols I've had or fired in the past. So this, incidentally, is just kind of interesting fact. So here's what you do. All of this is going to revolve around basically using this takedown lever and pulling it forward. So what you do is you pull the slide back. It's hard for me to do it this way. Let's pull the slide back. And then put the slide release up to hold it open. Then you take this takedown lever here, push it forward, and you can kind of see it's channeled, so it'll allow the slide to come forward. And then, and this is the part that I tended to mess up until I saw some videos, which thank you, by the way. You release the slide, let it come forward just about to where it normally would be, and then you got to pull the trigger and let the hammer down. By doing this, it essentially, I'm not sure mechanically how it happens, but it allows the slide to come forward and off. And then after you do this a few times, or the first time you do this, it may be really stiff and tight, but after a couple of times it comes off a lot easier. So now you have the housing, or the the frame itself, and it's interesting to look at here because I didn't know that it had these channeled springs on both sides. That's how basically every time you fire, those are the springs that push the slide back, or backwards and then forwards again to chamber the next round. So anyway, you want to leave it like this. You want to leave this hammer up too. You don't want to mess with that, because on this pistol and even on the P1, which I hear it's a bigger problem, this hammer and the channeling in here has a tendency to cause the working parts to come up. Well, it's not focusing right. Hold on. As I was saying, it's interesting because these springs, I thought it was one big spring, or, you know, I'm used to, you know, 1911s and that kind of stuff with one big spring that helps, you know, the slide traverse back and forth as you fire. This one has two small springs on either side. Kind of interesting. They're pretty stout too. I hate to think how hard it's going to be to replace them someday. Incidentally, you want to leave the hammer up like this. If you pull it back, you can still get the slide back on, but you can't really see it well, but there's a couple of pieces or parts here that get in the way when you're trying to put the slide back on. So you better just leave it off like this, otherwise you might jar or mar it when you're trying to put the slide back on. So we got that taken apart. Now we're going to take the barrel out of the barrel housing out of the slide. It has this pivot thing here. I forgot what it's called, but anyway, you got to push down on this lever button so that this pivot comes up. You can kind of see it here. And once you do that, then you can take the whole slide out. That pivot basically helps the every time you shoot this, it causes it to swing back down to chamber the next round and then go back in. In any event, I don't know if I've seen this. I don't have a Beretta, so I have no idea what this is like. But if the Beretta has anything similar to this in terms of this part of the piece. But in any event, that's it. You know, you've basically field stripped it. You have your slide, your barrel, and, you know, I'll try to see if we can focus in on this. When I first got this, the barrel looked kind of rancid, but as you can see here, the barrel is pristine. This is really, really clean. It's probably one of the cleanest barrels I've ever seen in a surplus pistol or rifle. So the process of putting it back together is just the reverse order. You slide this. You got to look at the channel here. and slide it in. You got to make sure this doohickey, for lack of a better term, is up, and then when you bring it back down, push it down, because if you leave it up, you're not going to be able to get this to slide over the frame anymore. Alright, so we have that, and then like I said, it's basically a reverse process. You have to slide it over. Now, at this point, I find that I have to push this down a little bit to get it to feed in, and then just slide it over like that to make sure everything lines up, and then do the last step to pull it back. Hold the action back with the release lever. Put the takedown lever back into its original position, and then you're done. So you can do a function check, and like I said, that's all she wrote. I mean, it's very simple, very easy. Can't wait to take this to the range, see how it performs. You know, sometimes these mags don't quite go in as easily as one would like or hope to. But in any event, that's it, folks. Like I said, that's all she wrote. And we'll see you at the range with this very soon.